Yeah, fellas, I'm going over the comments on the last video that I did. Um, let's see. Mr. Sanford, he writes, I agree 100% about what you say about homosexuality, which is why I don't understand black support for Obama and the Democratic Party. Obama is the most gay-promoting, feminized president we've ever had. I guess it's just race first, issues second. Okay, Mr. Sanford. Let's see. For black people, we have a choice between, and nobody knows about Ron Paul, so don't bring that up, okay? Nobody knows the man. So we had a choice between a man who believes that we are evil, that believes that my little grandbaby is evil, my grandsons, and my sons, that we're evil. Do you get that? I mean, does that cross into that big brain of yours that they think that we're evil? Evil. Okay? That also believes that God lives on a planet called Kolob? That God is a man? Does that cross into your big brain, Mr. Sanford? They think God is a man, and he lives on the planet Kolob. That also wear magic panties? Speaking of feminized, magic panties, to protect them from people like you and me, because you're not Mormons. Think about it. Think about it before you let your emotions run wild. Okay. That goes also to what's his name? Lauphone75, who writes, I agree with you on the agenda and damning anyone who does not agree with them. So much for freedom of expression. And then I'd question the rampant support of the current administration. And what people who always respond like that, they're obviously the people who bought into that whole image that Ronnie put up, or they're one of those independent types. You know, I'm voting Ron Paul. That type. You're either one or the other. And nobody knows the man, really. If they did, you know, he would have really did a good job. He wasn't even a contender. Okay? By the way, every last one of those people are politicians. You do understand that, right? Every last one of them are politicians. So voting for Ron Paul, you're still going to get a politician. He'll tell you what you want to hear, get in the office, he's another puppet. When you understand what's going on, then you'll realize that why black people did vote for our president. 97%. I mean, why vote for a man who thinks that we're evil? A man whose people think that when we die, our skin is like a shell and it will break open. Now listen, our skin is going to break open and a white person is going to come out of us. Now you're probably white, so it doesn't mean anything to you. You know, you could have that glory of white culture and all that, but I'm not. Nor are the other 97% of people who voted for Obama. And most of them don't even know the silliness of the opposition's beliefs. And you wanted to let that man in our office? Are you fucking kidding me? Now you're probably going to come back and say, well, I was a Ron Paul supporter. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now let's address the issue of race first, that a lot of people believe, which is mostly true too. Because this was a race issue this time, as it was the last time too. This was a race one. Now, I watched a video of a man who is a Republican that I posted on my Facebook account. You're probably not on there, so you probably didn't see it. I believe his name was Colonel Wilkerson. Now, Colonel Wilkerson he's not some Republican sitting at home listening to some glorious AM radio talk station. He's out there inside the Republican Party doing Republican people's work. Okay, he's not someone that sits at home, watches Fox News and all that kind of stuff, and or listens to some teachers lecture up in Canada or some other country that had nothing to do with America, or even some of the American teachers. He's actually inside the deepest parts of their organization. And what did he say? What did he say? That the Republican Party is full of the biggest racists in the world, pretty much. Not word for word, but that's what he came out and said. And he's talking about the old school Republicans. And there are racists on both sides, too. So why do you think they put up Mitt Romney? When you stop thinking left brain, my teacher said this, and start thinking right brain, look at the big picture, you guys. What's good for the nation, to push us forward. Okay? Because this nation has a lot of issues with race. There ain't nothing better than Obama to push this issue forward in this country. To go back to the old boy network that Romney represented is not even an option for this country anymore. Their ways are dying out. All that shit you learned about black people is going to come to an end. And eventually we're going to start policing our own race. Getting rid of the saggers that you probably think all black people are like. People like you. They go around sagging and with fake teeth and no teeth and collecting welfare. By the way, I did some research on welfare, and 38% of the money is going to white people, 39% is going to blacks, 15% to Latins or Hispanics. Now, the percentage of blacks, racist types, they always come back, well, black people have a higher percentage of people of themselves collecting the money, though. That's the racist comment. But still, the percentage of money is still going to 30% to white folks, by the way, and 39% to black folks. I took time to do real research. So when you start looking at the big picture, Obama is the best choice for this country. I don't agree with a lot of his politics, by the way. I don't agree with them. With politics, we truly have to pick the lesser of two evils and what's good for the entire, because race needs to be solved in this country. There's not going to be, there's no more Russian Cold War going on. There's just the minor, the little shit that's bubbling over that we've gotten involved in again. Every 10 years, we get into a war. Go figure. The politicians need more money. Instead of worrying about, this type of shit, you should look into what's really going on in the world there, Mr. Sanford and Mr. Lou something or other, Lou Lao phone. That'll really shock you. Okay? Let's see what else is going on. Okay. Alexander. He writes, my brother and I spoke about Illuminati trying to take control. I don't know about the killed 90% population, though. And as I advised to Alexander, talking about it with your brother or your mother or your grandfather or someone at school or someone on the bus, that's one thing. Going out there and doing some real research into what's going on, that's a whole nother book. Okay? That's another book. Another chapter at a higher plane, actually. So you're down here scratching the dirt, talking to people. It's better to go do your own research. Every one of you fellas, do your own research. Don't rely on me to do the research before you then come and talk about it. You should be doing your own research, like I've done. Look what I learned about the Mormons. More than I ever want to know about Mormons. I actually got into their history. I got deep into their history, see what was going on. So we got to understand that we have to do our own research on things, fellas. Okay? Hope that solves your problem. You guys, with the racial issues, a lot of people, we all have racial issues. I accept that. I know that some of you Caucasian folks, you see that black motherfucker up in there, and he did this. By the way, the first 4 years, the Republican Party fought everything he did. So he couldn't get most of the work done that he wanted. Okay, we know that. If a Republican got in there, the Democrats would fought him all the way through. Second term, it's over. They just give up and let him do what he needs to do. So we'll see some changes coming about. I own a business, and Obamacare does not affect me because I'm I don't have any employees. But I realize a lot of people whining about the Obamacare plan. Well, I'm gonna go sign up for it as soon as I can. That's how I'm gonna do it. So anyway, I'm not that concerned with stuff. I survive. I don't look at the negative side of things, fellas. I was watching Kurulian Bedros. He's an Armenian dude. He does marketing for personal trainers. And during the worst part of the economy, people at his workshop were standing up. They made over $100,000 a year as personal trainers. Okay. An old black man stood up. He wasn't even that great of shape. He made over $100,000 a year in the worst part of the economy. So we always have the people that only see the negative. Then we got the people that get busy in doing things and being productive. Obviously, many people who only see the negative, oh, Obama's doing this, oh, Obama's doing that. All they see is a mountain they can't overcome. Whereas people like me, we get busy working. Think about what side of the fence you want to be on now. The type that only see the negative, or the type that get busy doing something positive. And I believe that's what Obama wants, is to stimulate your minds into doing something. He's all down for that. Okay? Even though he's a Democrat. He's all down for that. We can argue politics, but I don't care to discuss politics here. We're here for other things. Not something as small-minded as small hat as politics. Okay. I got 2 pages of comments. Didn't realize that. Welcome to the channel, Rich Profit. And One-Minded Trip. I'll find the link for that series that I talked about. Today is Monday. We just ended the weekend, a holiday weekend. I hope you guys got the hell out of your houses, got off your computers, stop playing World of Warcraft or whatever the popular games are, and got out into the real world, interact with people, talk to women, danced. I hope you guys did that. I like to check the guys that's on Fridays and Saturdays, see who's on my forum every now and then. That tells me who's actually out there doing it and who's not. Who's really there just reading posts and listening to players, talk about what they accomplished. We got watchers, we got doers, and we got complainers. I'd rather be a doer, because doers get shit done. So we got another weekend coming up, fellas. Maybe you guys can get off your computers, get out there into the real world, and do something. Interact with people. Don't let the bullshit you unsold yourself fuck up your life. I went through that when I was younger. I put up that, okay, well, I'm smarter than everyone around me, so I must be special. Then I looked at my thumbs. Look how short my thumbs are. Also, I don't have the flesh on those fleshy, knobby thumbs, so I said, I gotta be special. I did thumb push-ups. Well, I think that's what started my growth. I admired Bruce Lee, and I trained like him. So anyway, I gotta be special. And that's what we do to ourselves, to isolate ourselves, because we feel inferior. I felt inferior inside. I learned about slavery, and ever since then, it was like a downhill slope for me. I learned about that in 3rd grade. Then I come here back to the, I come here to the States and start going to school off base, and it just happens to black people. We develop this inferiority complex. So many blacks will put up that wall, that tough guy thing. I thought I was too intelligent to play football in high school, and they kept asking me, please, please, please. Learned later that the coaches told my little brother who played football, and they got rid of him because he was too rough, that they told my little brother some shitty shit, that you'll never be half the athlete that Chris was. That's fucked up. But I thought I was too intelligent. I was trying to be one of the smart guys. When I would talk to my fellow blacks back then, my fellow brothers, I always thought I was better than they are. I put up that wall myself. I did it to myself, like many of you guys are doing it to yourselves. You're not special like that, like you're making yourself out to be. You can become special by going out there doing something, don't get me wrong. But that whole fantasy, and this goes out to my brother over in the Netherlands, the whole fantasy thing you're doing, that whole isolation thing you're doing, all you're doing is fucking yourself up and fucking up your life. You can't, like this John Brown said, no man is an island unto himself. I heard that when I was in elementary school, and it stuck with me, because I had to put myself off in my own little island, the island of Chris. And I would look at women and I would think, God, she's so beautiful. Why can't she notice me? Because I've isolated myself. When you isolate yourself, you pull your aura in around you tight, so that people can't feel it. They can't feel you. So the goal is to expand yourself. You got to get out there into the real world. You got to interact with people. I thought I could go through life without interacting with people. Okay. Instead of conquering the stupid ass issues I had in my head, I thought I could get around it by just not interacting with people. No, it doesn't work that way, fellas. We try to withdraw from society, live off the grid, and all that. But then, even then, you still will crave other people like you. So going through life, not interacting with people, is a stupid fallacy. You got to talk. So the best thing you can do is learn how to communicate. That's one of the things that many of the people that come to the internet have not mastered, is simple communication. Now Saturday I had a guy I'm working with. He's an Obama impersonator. He looks more like Obama than any of the other people out there, but he doesn't have his vocals down. He doesn't really sound like him that much. But the man talked. He came over here at 11, and I got nothing done because he talked and talked. My little brother did the same thing. He talked and talked, but he didn't talk with you. He talked over you. Okay? Like I was talking about, I'm giving him some public speaking stuff, and I said, well, I've done public speaking for, and I've got my awards on the wall there to show it. He didn't bother looking. He kept talking and talking and talking. That's not communication. Okay? That's someone that just wants to talk about themselves. I guess because he's gotten kind of famous in this profession of Obama impersonators, and it's gotten into his head. It's really gotten into his head. So anyway, you don't want to communicate like that. You don't want to be that shy, quiet guy, glancing at a girl, feeling feminine. Break out of that shell and step over and talk like a man. All right, fellas? If you need the help, I've got tools out there. Go find other tools. Get tools that'll help you. Get some help.